20 years of civil war.
This looks like fun.
What about it?
This is bigger now.
This is a movie. Oh, yeah, it's a movie.
Terrorist hands.
Wow, look at the quality.
That looks real.
They could be anywhere.
We need to move fast.
What do you suggest?
A business trip. Sarah! Let's talk. I need your help.
This is full-blown movie trailer.
You'll have known something worse than war.
Help us track it.
If you stay, we can help you. But if you stay, we fight.
Yelling out to him.
The invaders
That's
of
so
my country
cool.
have no regard for human life.
I like the graphics
They
though.
live like this every day.
I like that realistic look.
Any further complications and we're at war.
Okay, so I've been obsessed with this game for like the past 3 weeks since it came out.
Breaking through now. We need
And I've non-stop been playing. Like the graphics on this are like actually
I
insane.
lead soldiers.
Such a lot of logical thinking in here.
All killers here.
I've said stuff like this before.
about you,
Like we're all just killers.
Are you gonna let them die?
I like that line.
Chemical weapons are now in the wild. Fix it.
The amount of work that goes into this actually like
Where do we draw the line?
makes me.
You draw the line.
No, sir! Stop!
Wherever you need it.
What the hell is this?
The on switch. We're all just pawns in this.
You speak for yourself.
This is crazy.
Yeah, but we're a little crazy, aren't we? The rules have been
I don't
given.
know what I was gonna say right there, but like it makes me just think how crazy this is that they go through all this, and it's not even real actors too.
Wow.
You are the target.
Nah, this is gonna be tough. Nah, this game's gonna be tough.
Alright. I like that. Most of the time I'm watching people play the games, but this would be a game that I would probably like watch someone like Markiplier play.
I'm a Call of Duty fan myself, and I play a couple of stuff video games like Madden and 2K and stuff, but Modern Warfare, a lot of the past few years, it's been very it has been a good game really. It looks like real life. It's crazy, the guns and all that stuff. The storyline, they brought back Captain Price because he died a few games ago and he came back.
This is mostly our childhood, the kids that have been playing it for the longest time, and for them to actually come out with a movie like this is actually crazy because I don't think there's been a good animated action movie in the longest time.
So this is actually a video game that you're reacting to, not a movie.
I definitely thought this was a movie this whole time. This did not look like a video game, at all. In all honesty, I really thought this was a movie the whole time.
So that was Call of Duty Modern Warfare, which is going to be released this Friday.
Wow. This is gonna be pretty soon.
Now that I know it's a game, I actually would. I play it already on my phone, but on a console I would actually play.
So Call of Duty has had at least one game release every year since the release of the original Call of Duty back in 2003. And it's one of the top-selling video game franchises in the world. So what is it about Call of Duty that makes it so popular with gamers?
I think it's probably I don't want to say action, but not the violence, but the fact that you get to be immersed in this kind of story and you kind of get a feel for since it's a war situation, you get a kind of feel for that, kind of get an idea for it. A lot of people like to, sign up to be a vet or whatever.
I think it's the storyline and being able to go into a war situation and see what it's actually like, and based on how this graphics looks, it definitely feels like you're actually in there, it's a real situation, real people. So that's what I think draws everyone into it.
I guess the fact that it has been evolving through time and has gotten more audiences based on the way that the game is set up, and the fact that it's showing a more reality version of other games and what life has been through.
It's just the customization you get from the guns on all the skins and attachments that you can put on the guns. There's many different guns to choose from. A few years ago, you can play with your friends. It's a nice feeling when you can come home and you have all your friends on, and then you just all get together, just play the same game for countless hours. And it doesn't feel like hours because it's so fun, so you don't really see the time. That's what Call of Duty does.
Call of Duty has also generated a lot of controversy over the years, and a lot of it is for some of its past games, including story plots, originality, along with some of its features on multiplayer, and the controversial Season Pass, which this year Activision and Infinity Ward are ditching for Modern Warfare. So why is it that there's always some part of Call of Duty that always brings a lot of controversy?
I guess it's because people think of how it may affect somebody in some type of way, and like the fact that it's just like, oh, it's a game, it shouldn't be like either expensive or something like that, and people touch on that a lot.
There's always controversy because there's a group of people that like the last year's version of Call of Duty because a lot of different companies make the game in the past few years that they flip-flop, like Activision and Infinity Ward and stuff. It's just that everyone's not going to like the game because somebody will like the game one way and then just keep changing it. But with the loot boxes and stuff, personally, I think that's kind of a bad way to go. They care what the consumers think, but when it comes into money, if they think they can make the most money, they're going to try to do whatever they can to make the most money.
The most controversial I hear is the fact that it's very like violent, and there's always some sort of parental figure or adult that's gonna say that it's too violent. Even some people in our generation would say that. Honestly, I think it's a good outlet to get anger out. Instead of just bottling it up and, you know, saving it to like yell at someone else, just play the game, you kill someone off, and then you go about your day.
Because if there's not controversy, you're not going to get people to like actually come in no matter what. So like having that little bit of controversy draws people in, especially if it's making up a storyline, making up a false statement in history to get people to play, then that's for it. And the season pass and stuff like that, they got to make their money somehow. Kids are spending so much money on Fortnite, they might as well spend the same amount of money on Call of Duty.
Call of Duty Modern Warfare has already generated a lot of controversy for its stark and violent storyline, especially with the possibility of terrorist attacks and mass shootings, along with the possibility of killing civilians in the game as well. So why do you think that they would try something like this, especially with what's going on in today's climate?
I think that it's just a way for people to express themselves. It's just a game. If you can't separate the game from reality, then there's definitely something wrong with you, not the game itself, though.
Trying to give an idea of what it's like to see firsthand. I mean, personally, I kind of like the dark storyline. That's just me. Some people don't. I don't know why. It's fun. It's more interesting than just being happy-go-lucky and being just kind of boring. The more action, the more seriousness the story is, the more interesting. And I don't know. I gravitate towards the darker storylines so much more than just the happy-go-lucky stuff.
As a kid, there, like, in my perspective, as a kid, there were stuff that I was not allowed to see. And because they're showing a more real version of, like, what is going on throughout the world, it's like, oh, parents don't want to, oh, that may like impact my kid in some type of way, and that will affect their development as a person, and maybe they will get either inspired to do something like that in the future. I don't think kids just like, you know, get inspired by something that they see or like get affected. They take what goes around their lives and like the people that they're surrounded with to act in some type of way in the future.
Well, Call of Duty is a military game, so I feel that it should be authentic as possible because that's what games of all sports and all categories, they look at authenticity when their game. It could be an alien or space game, they try to be authentic as they can with their imagination, even if real life in Call of Duty, when they go in all the Middle Eastern countries to try to get authentic as possible. So I don't feel that they should like stop or pause or try to minimize the authenticity because that's a part of the game. And if you really don't like it, then you should go choose another game.
And especially in a time where there are so many issues relating to video game violence, mass shootings, and gun control issues, do you think it's okay for Activision and Call of Duty to have this kind of storyline?
I think so. It's, yeah, like I just said before, it's a game. If you really can't separate yourself from what you're doing in the game to actually what's happening in real life, and like if playing this game makes you want to go out and shoot up a score or something like that, then there's something wrong with you. There's nothing wrong with Call of Duty. You need to get checked out.
It all falls into the perspective of the person, and if it is not, it's not just gonna like throw it in there and show what it's gonna happen. I would say like their purpose is to educate others. I would say it's good, but I mean it all depends on the people that like the person that is playing is surrounded by with.
The storyline of Modern Warfare, it's been the same storylines in that such matter since I was little, since I first started playing the game. Like I said, if you don't like the storyline or the gun situations or whatever, the killing, the terrorism, that's what happens in real life.
As someone who's like, I haven't been in a situation like that to actually see what fully would go down hypothetically, I'd like to see it from both sides of, like the person who would cause the problem and the people who are a part of it, like during the school shooting. It gives you like a feel for what's going on.
So Call of Duty Modern Warfare is a revival of the original Modern Warfare sub-series, which released its Modern Warfare games from 2007, 2009, and 2011. Do you think that old COD gamers that were turned off by recent games from the Call of Duty franchise will return for Modern Warfare?
Honestly, I'm not sure. Like, I haven't been able to keep up with this game series. I've kept up with a lot of game series. This isn't one that I particularly have, so I'm not too certain. I guess so, possibly. I'm not sure.
I think it would, because like I said, you're bringing it back, and it seems like a lot of things that are being brought back from the past and now are actually doing real good because of they're trendy or stuff like that. So I definitely think it'll bring old players back in.
I'm not into video games, but if I knew how to play it, I will play this, totally. It's like you're watching like a virtual version of what goes around, and you're actually in that moment, even though if you're not. And I mean, I would say people try it. At least try it, and if like after they try it, they will like, you like it or not. A
lot of fans, like myself, I'm not really a big Call of Duty guy, but I do like to play it occasionally. I speak for probably a lot of people. They should go back to they should go back to the Modern Warfare 2 or COD 4 games, because that's what everyone enjoyed, and it was very balanced. Like Infinity War, when you fly with the exosuits and stuff, that's just not realistic. I'd rather just stay on the ground. Whoever's better at the game is better at the game. It's as simple as that. But they should go back to their old school roots where everyone fell in love with the game in the first place. Instead of, I understand the expanding part of it is not where the game should go, because it was at its peak when like Modern Warfare 2 and COD 4. So they should just stay to the basics and just keep updating throughout the time periods of, the years. So.
And finally, do you plan on playing Call of Duty Modern Warfare when it comes out on Friday?
I pre-ordered it, so I'm definitely going to play it on Friday with my friends. And I'm going to enjoy the game because from the trailer, it looks great. The little trial that they had, I had a bunch of fun. For like a weekend, they had a little free trial so you can play the game a little early. I had a lot of fun playing it, and I'm just looking forward to the game altogether.
I would try. I'm not into video games, but my boyfriend is planning on buying it, so I would tell him to teach me.
I believe we do have a gaming system for it, so if we get a hold of the game, I'd say yeah, probably. It looks interesting. The most I would do is I would watch someone else play it on YouTube, because that is something that I do particularly do a lot.
I 100% will be playing Call of Duty on Friday. I would definitely skip class. I don't care what I got to do, but I would definitely be playing that game.